Rayan was not a hero. He never wanted to be one. He was just a space engineer working on a remote mining station, orbiting the gas giant Ursa-9. Every day felt the same: check the oxygen filters, repair broken bots, and eat reheated food while watching old Earth videos. It was quiet, lonely, and safe, but everything changed the day he heard the signal. Rayan had just finished repairing a cracked pipe near the communication tower when his portable scanner beeped. A strange signal blinked across the screen. The frequency was old, almost forgotten, an emergency beacon in an alien code. It came from Doran 6, a frozen moon below the station. The beacon repeated only 4 words in a weak digital voice. "Please, save me, human." Rayan blinked at the message. It was strange. Most aliens never used the word human directly. And who would be calling from that icy rock? There were no official colonies, no stations, and no known life forms. He returned to the control room and reported the signal. As expected, the mining company ordered him to ignore it. "Not our concern," the commander said over the comm. "Could be a trap or old tech. Stay focused on your work." But Rayan couldn't shake the feeling. What if it was real? What if someone was truly trapped? That night, he lay in his bunk, staring at the ceiling. The signal repeated in his mind. "Please, save me, human." The next morning, before anyone noticed, Rayan quietly launched his personal shuttle. It wasn't made for long trips, but Doran 6 wasn't far. Within 20 minutes, he broke through the thin clouds of the icy moon and landed near the signal's location. Thick snow crunched under his boots as he stepped outside, the air cold even through his suit. His scanner pointed toward a ridge covered in ice. As he moved closer, he saw the tail of a crashed ship, half buried, half shattered. Rayan's heart beat faster. The ship was alien for sure, its smooth, curved shape unlike anything humans built. The metal was cracked and sparks flickered from broken panels. He climbed inside, carefully stepping through the wreck. Lights flickered in the dark corridors. The walls were covered with strange glowing lines. He moved deeper until he found a sealed door. His scanner showed a life form inside, very weak. Using his tools, he forced the door open. A cloud of cold air rushed out. Inside, lying against the wall, was a figure. She was unlike anyone Rayan had ever seen. Her skin had a soft silver glow. Her hair floated slightly, like it didn't follow gravity. She looked badly hurt, cuts on her arms, breathing shallow. Her large eyes fluttered open. They were violet and full of fear. She whispered in a soft, trembling voice, "Please, save me, human." Rayan dropped to one knee beside her. "It's okay. I'm here. I'll help you." She tried to speak more, but her voice was too weak. Her body trembled, and her skin flickered with pulses of light. Her fingers reached toward him, shaking. "I'm going to take you to my shuttle," he said gently. "You're safe now." Carefully, Rayan lifted her in his arms. She was light, almost weightless. Her skin felt cool, but her heartbeat was fast. As he carried her through the wreck, she rested her head against his shoulder and whispered one word, "Nira." Rayan understood. It was her name. Back in the shuttle, he laid her down on the medbed and connected her to the diagnostic scanner. The machine blinked in confusion. Her biology was completely different. No human medicine would help her. But Rayan had studied alien tech before. He connected parts from her ship's remains to build a temporary stabilizer. As the system powered up, a pulse of blue energy passed through her body and his hand, since he was still holding the device. Suddenly, a strange light flashed between them. The ship's lights dimmed for a second. Rayan felt something strange pass through his chest. Like warmth and static together, he pulled back. What was that? Nira's body glowed brighter for a moment, then calmed. Her breathing became steady. The ship's computer beeped. A message blinked on the screen. Life form stabilized. Biolink formed. Rayan frowned. Biolink? What? Does that mean? Nira stirred. Her voice was clearer now. You touched the life seal. Energy shared. I didn't mean to, he said quickly. She looked at him, her eyes wide. It cannot be undone. Rayan didn't know what to say. He had only meant to help. Now something had happened between them, something deep, something alien. Outside, the ice storm howled across the moon's surface. Inside the shuttle, Rayan sat beside the injured alien, wondering what he had just gotten himself into. Rayan sat silently in his shuttle, staring at the screen that still showed the strange message. Biolink formed. He looked at Nira, the silver-skinned alien girl resting on the medbed. Her breathing was calm now, and the glowing lines across her skin had turned soft blue. She looked peaceful, but Rayan's heart was not. He didn't understand what had happened. He didn't mean to form any link. He only wanted to help her survive. Nira slowly opened her eyes. Her violet gaze met Rayan's. For a long moment, they didn't speak. Then, in a soft voice, she said, "You saved me." Rayan nodded. "You were hurt. I had to try." Nira tried to sit up, but her arms were still weak. Rayan gently helped her, placing a pillow behind her back. "I'm Rayan," he said. "I work at the mining station above this moon. What happened to you?" Nira closed her eyes for a moment, as if remembering something painful. "I am Villari," she said slowly. "I was on a peaceful scout ship. We came to map the outer sectors, but raiders found us. Pirates. They attacked us without warning." Rayan listened carefully. Villari, he had read the name once in a galactic report. They were a peaceful and private race, known for their energy-based technology and long-distance travelers. "My ship was damaged," Nira continued. "I was alone in the escape pod. It crashed here. I activated the emergency beacon. But I did not think anyone would hear." Rayan smiled a little. "Well, I did. You risked much to come here," she said, eyes serious. "Your people do not often interfere." Rayan shrugged. "Maybe I'm not like most people." Nira studied him for a moment, then nodded slowly. "You are not." Suddenly, a soft alarm beeped from the med bed. Rayan turned to the screen. The scanner showed energy movement inside Nira's body. Not dangerous, but strange. "It's that energy pulse again," Rayan muttered. "When I used your ship's part to fix the stabilizer, something passed through both of us." Nira looked at the screen, and her face changed. Her expression was unreadable, part surprise, part concern. "This should not have happened," she whispered. "What is it?" Rayan asked. She hesitated, then said, "Villari bodies carry life energy, like a seed. It only awakens when shared during extreme need. You touched the seal, and I was close to death. Our energies met." Rayan blinked. "You mean we're linked?" She nodded. "For now, yes. Your energy saved me. We are bonded in a small way. It may fade with time." Rayan rubbed his face. "This was too much for one day. I was just trying to stop you from dying, and you did." She gave him a small, thankful smile. Just then, the shuttle trembled slightly. Rayan checked the controls. An icequake had passed under them. Doran 6's surface was unstable. "They couldn't stay here long. I need to get you back to the mining station," Rayan said. "It's not much, but at least it's warm and has proper supplies." Nira frowned. "Humans may not accept me. They don't even like me," Rayan said with a chuckle. "But I'll hide you for now in one of the old cargo bays. We'll figure things out." She nodded, trusting him fully. Rayan piloted the shuttle up into the black sky. The storm below faded as they entered orbit. His small ship docked quietly with the back of the mining station, away from the main bay. No one noticed. The station was large but poorly maintained. It was meant only for workers and machines. Rayan led Nira through quiet, unused halls and brought her to a locked storage area that he had secretly cleaned and powered. He gave her a warm blanket. Some light food and water. She sat down, weak but grateful. Why do you live here alone? She asked. Rayan paused. I didn't fit in back home. I liked space. Machines made more sense than people. Nira tilted her head. But you helped a stranger. That is not something a cold machine would do. Rayan smiled again. I guess. I'm still figuring out who I am. As days passed, Rayan brought her supplies and repaired her translator so they could talk more clearly. Nira's body slowly healed. Her strength returned, but something was changing. Her skin pulsed with deeper energy. She often touched her stomach and looked confused. Rayan noticed but didn't ask at first. Then one evening, Nira looked at him seriously. There is something else, Rayan, she said. He sat beside her. What is it? When the energy passed between us, it triggered something ancient in my body. A seed that was waiting. Rayan blinked. What kind of seed? She placed her hand on her stomach. I believe I am with child. Rayan's heart stopped. What you mean? It is not like human birth, Nira said gently. The life formed through energy, not contact, but your spirit became part of it. Rayan sat back, stunned. I didn't mean to. I know, she said calmly. It was not your fault. It was fate, maybe. But now the child is growing. And it needs help. My body is not ready. My people must help complete it. Rayan stood up slowly. He had come to save one life. Now there were two, and both were depending on him. Rayan couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling of his small room inside the mining station, trying to understand what Nira had told him. She was carrying life. A child. And somehow, part of that life came from him. It wasn't like anything human. No relationship, no plan. Just an energy bond made in the middle of danger and desperation. But it had created something new, something alive. Rayan got up and walked to the cargo bay where Nira stayed. The old storage room had become her shelter. He had added a heater, a few lights, and soft covers to make it more comfortable. When he entered, she was sitting quietly, looking at her hands. Her silver skin glowed brighter than before. Her eyes turned to him as he stepped inside. You didn't rest, she said softly. I couldn't, Rayan replied. Too much on my mind. I understand, she said. I also feel strange. My body is changing faster than it should. It's not normal. Rayan sat across from her. You said we need to find your people. Can they help you? Yes, Nira said with a nod. Only the Velari elders can complete the energy cycle. Without them, the child's spirit may fade before it fully forms. Rayan frowned. But we don't know where your people are. She closed her eyes. There is one hope. Before my ship crashed, I sent a signal toward the old Velari relay station near the Rin Belt. If the message reached, maybe they will come. And if they don't? Rayan asked. Nayare opened her eyes. Then I will try to protect the life inside me for as long as I can. But I feel time is short. Rayan stood up, thinking fast. Then we don't wait. We go find that relay. I can fix up my shuttle and try to boost the range. If we can reach the relay again, we might send a stronger signal. Nira looked unsure. Will your station let you leave again? Rayan smirked. I left last time without asking. I'll do it again. He got to work immediately. Over the next day, Rayan gathered parts from old mining drones and broken antennae. He repaired the shuttle's long-range com and rewired the power system to give it an extra push. He worked non-stop, and Nira helped where she could. While they worked, her condition continued to change. Her movements slowed, and she became tired easily. The glowing lines on her body pulsed faster. The scanner picked up a small growing life form, barely formed, but real. Rayan checked the results with wide eyes. It's single quotes S. alive. Nira placed a gentle hand on the screen. Yes, but not yet strong. Rayan looked at her. Then we'll make sure it gets strong. The next morning, before anyone noticed, they launched the shuttle. Rayan flew with care, staying under the radar. The stars around them seemed quiet, but Rayan felt the weight of what they were doing. As they moved closer to the rim belt, something felt wrong. The scanner picked up strange signals, fast, sharp, and repeating. Rayan leaned forward, adjusting. The controls. These aren't normal signals, he said. Nira's face turned pale. They're radar pings. Rayan gritted his teeth. The same ones who shot you down? Yes, she said. They must have tracked my old signal. Or worse, followed us. Rayan pushed the engines harder. Then we don't stop. Behind them, a small ship appeared on the scanner. It was fast and sharp, shaped like a blade. The pirate ship closed in quickly. They've seen us, Rayan. Syed, hold on. The shuttle shook as it entered the edge of the rim belt. Huge chunks of rock floated around them, asteroids spinning slowly in open space. Rayan swerved between them, trying to lose the enemy. Lasers fired behind them. One shot hit the back of the shuttle, making the control lights flash red. We're hit. Rayan shouted. I will try to shield us, Nira said, placing her hands. On the energy board, a soft light spread through the ship. The next laser bounced off weakly. You can do that? Rayan asked, shocked. Only for a short time, she said. Sweating, Rayan used the moment to dive deep into the asteroid field. He remembered the training from when he first became a pilot. Quick turns, close calls, narrow escapes. The pirate ship followed, but Rayan was faster in tight space. Suddenly, a huge rock passed in front of them. Rayan pulled hard and twisted under it. The raider wasn't so lucky. The enemy ship scraped the asteroid and spun out of control. We lost them. Rayan cheered. Nira sighed, exhausted. That was close. They flew on until they reached an old floating station. The Velari relay. It was small, silent, and almost dead. Rayan docked carefully. He brought a power pack and connected it to the relay core. Lights blinked weakly. Then the screen turned on, showing the ancient Velari symbol. It's alive, Rayan said. Nira stepped forward and placed her hand on the panel. Her energy flowed into the system. The relay glowed bright blue, and a signal launched into deep space. Message sent, she said. Now we wait. Rayan looked at her. She looked pale again. Are you okay? She nodded, but barely. I used too much energy. Rayan helped her back to the shuttle. As she lay down, she held her stomach. He looked at her, then at the stars outside the window. We'll find your people, he said quietly. I promise. The message had been sent. The ancient Velari relay now glowed with soft blue light, sending its signal deep into space. Nira rested in the shuttle's passenger seat, eyes closed, her body weak. The energy she gave to activate the relay had taken its toll. Rayan sat quietly at the control panel, watching the stars. He had hoped that once the signal was sent, things would calm down. He was wrong. The scanner beeped. Rayan leaned forward. A ship had entered the outer edge of the rim belt. Then another. And another. They're back, he whispered on the screen. Sharp-looking ships approached fast pirate raiders, just like the one that attacked them before. But this time, there were three. Rayan's heart raced. He checked the shuttles. Systems. The engines were working, but the damage from the last battle hadn't fully healed. The shield was low, and they had no weapons strong enough to fight back. He turned to Nira. We need to leave now. She opened her eyes slowly, nodding weakly. Do we have a place to go? Rayan looked at the star map. Not yet. But I'm not letting them take us. He started the engines. The shuttle lifted gently from the relay station and turned toward open space. But the raiders were already closing in. Rayan pushed the shuttle forward, trying to stay just ahead of the enemy. Ships. Bright lasers lit up behind them, flashing through space. He zigzagged between chunks of drifting rock from the rim belt, but the raiders were fast, and one of them fired a direct shot. The shuttle shook violently as the bat panel sparked. "We can't outrun them forever," Rayan said. Nira looked at the control board. Her glowing hand reached out again, but this time, the energy didn't respond. She was too weak. "I can't shield us now," she said. "I need to rest." Rayan clenched his jaw. "Then I'll handle it." He flew the shuttle toward a dense asteroid cluster, hoping to lose them in the maze of rock and metal. The raiders followed close behind. Rayan knew the only chance was to think smarter, not fly faster. He spotted a narrow canyon between two giant spinning rocks. It was dangerous. One wrong move and the shuttle could be crushed, but Rayan didn't hesitate. He flew straight into the gap. The walls of the canyon passed just meters from the shuttle's wings. Inside it was dark, full of falling debris and broken satellite pieces, but Rayan's hands moved fast. He remembered every flying lesson, every sim test he ever failed. Now, he didn't fail. The first raider followed, but was hit by a broken satellite arm. It spun out of control and exploded in the rocks. Rayan smiled for a second. One down. The second ship kept coming, more careful. Rayan pulled the shuttle down low, hiding behind a large spinning platform. As the raider passed overhead, Rayan flipped the shuttle up and released a burst of leftover mining gas. The gas cloud lit up in the heat of space, blinding the raider. It crashed into a rock wall and vanished in a bright flash. Rayan looked at the scanner. 2 down. But the third ship had taken a different path and was now flying ahead of them. Waiting at the end of the canyon, Rayan knew there was no time to escape. This one was smarter. He stopped the shuttle and floated behind a large asteroid. The raider ship didn't move, just stayed ahead, ready to strike. Rayan turned to Nira. "We're trapped." She opened her eyes and whispered, "Not trapped, hidden." She placed her hand on the scanner panel and closed her eyes. Even in her weak state, her skin began to glow again. "Stay still," she said. The lights inside the shuttle dimmed. The outer surface of the ship changed color, blending into the rocks around them. The raiders scanned the area but saw nothing. It slowly turned and flew away, unable to find them. Rayan waited until it was completely gone before taking a deep breath. "You saved us," he said softly. Nira leaned back, exhausted. "Only once more, I think. I can't keep using this power." He helped her lie down and checked the scanner again. No ships in sight. But now, they were low on fuel, damaged, and far from any help. And Nira was getting weaker every hour. Rayan knew he had to find a place to land, to fix the shuttle, and let Nira recover. He remembered a signal he once saw in old station files, a deserted outpost near the planet Kelvarus, once used by explorers. Maybe there was still equipment there. "Where?" "Going to Kelvarus," he said, setting the course. The journey took several hours. During that time, Rayan kept checking on Nira. Her breathing was slow. Her skin glowed with a soft red hue, now a warning sign. The life form inside her was still active but faint. The child needed help too. Finally, the shuttle approached Kelvarus. The planet was dusty and full of storm clouds. But Rayan spotted the old outpost, a flat structure built into a canyon wall. He landed the shuttle outside and carried Nira inside. The building still had power, just barely. Old lights flickered as he walked through broken halls. In the back, he found a medical pod, ancient, but working. He gently placed Nira inside and activated the system. It scanned her and showed a warning in alien symbols. Rayan stared at it. He couldn't read the full message, but one part was clear. Energy low. Life form unstable. He stood beside her and placed his hand on the panel. "I'm not going to let anything happen to you," he said quietly. "Not you, not the child." He didn't know how, but he would protect them both, even if the whole galaxy stood against him. Rayan sat alone in the quiet control room of the abandoned outpost on Kelvarus. Outside, The dusty wind howled across the canyon like a ghost. Inside, the broken lights flickered, and the air smelled old, like something forgotten. He stared at the ancient medical pod where Nira rested. The machine showed weak life signs. Her energy levels were still dropping, and the small life form inside her was fading slowly. The pod was keeping her stable, but just barely. Rayan felt helpless. "I brought you here to save you," he whispered. "Now I don't know what to do." He stood up and looked around the room. The outpost was full of old Velari tech, mixed with human parts from past explorers. Most of it was broken, but maybe, just maybe, something inside could help. Rayan started searching. He moved through the long halls of the outpost, opening doors, wiping off dust, and scanning old machines. He found a data core room filled with blue glass panels and strange symbols. He powered it up using the last of his portable generator. The panels blinked and came to life. A soft hum filled the room. The alien symbols glowed brighter. He didn't understand their language, but the system responded to his presence, maybe because of the link with Nira. The machine showed an old map of the planet and highlighted a hidden chamber deep underground. Rayan leaned closer. The chamber was marked with a Velari symbol that meant healing or renewal. He had seen it once before on Nira's medical screen. "This must be it," he said. Without waiting, he ran back to the med-pod. "Nira," he said, placing his hand gently on the side of the pod. "There's something here, a Velari chamber. Maybe it can help you and the child." She opened her eyes weakly. "Too far," she whispered. "I'll carry you. You will tire." Rayan smiled. "I'm human. I'll manage." He carefully lifted her from the pod, wrapping her in a thermal blanket. Her body was light, but she felt even weaker now. He carried her through the halls, following the map on his wrist screen, deeper into the outpost. They entered a long tunnel lit by strange blue lights. The floor shook slightly. The planet was unstable. Small tremors ran through the ground every few minutes. Finally, they reached the hidden chamber. It was a large room with a glowing platform in the center. Ancient symbols circled the floor, and soft energy floated in the air like mist. The moment Nira entered, her skin glowed brighter. "This place," she whispered. "It is Velari's sacred ground." Rayan gently laid her on the platform. Her body responded to the energy, and the glowing mist began to flow into her skin. She breathed deeper, her eyes opening wider. "It's working," Rayan said with hope. But then, something else woke up. From the far end of the chamber, a tall figure rose from the ground. It was not alive, not truly. A Velari sentinel, a guardian. Machine built long ago to protect the chamber. Its eyes glowed red. It looked at Rayan, then stepped forward. "Warning," the voice echoed in broken Velari and English. "Human presence detected. Unauthorized. Threat level high." Rayan stepped back. "No, wait. I brought her here." "She's Velari." The sentinel raised its arm, forming a blade of energy. It pointed at Rayan. "Do not interfere," it said. Rayan had no weapons. He looked around quickly, spotting a pile of old tech tools. He grabbed a metal rod and held it up. "I'm not leaving her," he shouted. The sentinel stepped forward. It swung its blade, but Rayan dodged. He rolled to the side and threw the rod at the sentinel's eye. Sparks flew. Rayan grabbed a power coil from the ground and yanked it free. The coil crackled with energy. As the sentinel turned back to attack, Rayan jumped forward and slammed the coil into its chest. The machine screamed. Electricity ran through its body, and it collapsed in a flash of light. Rayan dropped to the floor, breathing hard. He turned back to Nira. She was sitting up now, eyes glowing with soft silver light. "You fought." "Without fear," she said gently. Rayan laughed, tired. "I was afraid, but I fought anyway." She looked down at her stomach and smiled faintly. "The child, it is stronger now." The chamber is helping. Rayan stepped closer. You'll be okay? For now, she said. But this planet is dying. The energy here won't last long. Just then, the ground rumbled hard. Dust fell from the ceiling. Cracks formed in the walls. We need to get out of here, Rayan said. He picked Nira up again and ran back through the tunnel. Behind them, the chamber's light flickered and went dark. The sacred ground had given its last strength. Back at the shuttle, Rayan placed Nira inside and checked the systems. The scanner now showed stronger life signs for both Nira and the child. He sighed in relief. You saved us both, Nira said, looking at him with deep eyes. Rayan sat beside her. I told you I wouldn't let anything happen to you. Outside, the storm was getting worse. The planet wouldn't hold much longer. But the Valari signal from earlier was still active. All they could do now was wait and hope that someone out there had heard the call. The shuttle shook as another tremor rolled through the surface of Calvarus. Rayan tightened his grip on the flight controls, trying to keep the shuttle steady. Smoke still drifted from one of the back engines. Outside the window, cracks opened wide across the canyon floor. Dust clouds rose high into the sky. This planet didn't have much time left. He glanced back at Nira. She was resting on the medical bed, her silver skin glowing faintly under the flickering lights. The chamber had helped her and the child, but now she looked tired again. The healing had used up much of her own energy. Rayan checked the scanner. Her life signs were stable for now, but the energy signal of the child inside her was still weak. Nira opened her eyes and looked at him. You came back for me. Rayan smiled a little. I never left. I felt the planet shaking, she said. It's breaking apart. Rayan nodded. We need to leave. But the ship isn't ready for spaceflight yet. One engine's failing and power is low. I've been working on repairs, but it'll take more time. Nira slowly sat up, her hand resting on her stomach. We may not have more time. A red warning light flashed on the control panel. Rayan leaned forward. His heart sank. 3 raider ships approaching, he read aloud. They found us again. He turned to Nira. They must have tracked our signal. Nira's eyes grew. Serious, they'll destroy us, or worse. Rayan grabbed his toolkit. Not if I finish these repairs in time. He opened the floor panel and started rewiring the power flow. The shuttle systems were old, but Rayan had worked with worse. Still, every second counted. Nira watched him for a moment. Then she stood slowly and walked to the back of the ship. Her legs still weak but determined. Where are you going? Rayan asked. There's something I must do. Rayan kept working while watching her carefully. Nira placed her hands on the backup energy core. She closed her eyes. Her glowing skin became brighter silver, turning to white blue. The lights around her flickered. The scanner beeped again. Rayan looked at the screen. Nira, wait. You're transferring your energy. I must, she said. The child needs more. The ship needs more. You need more. Rayan crawled toward her. Stop, please. You're giving too much. What happens if you disappear? She opened her eyes. Then I disappear. But you'll live. The child will live. That's enough. Rayan felt a sharp pain in his chest. He never expected to care this much, but now he did. He couldn't let her go. No, he said firmly. There has to be another way. He grabbed a stabilizer and plugged it into the core, redirecting the energy balance. If we link your energy to mine like we did before, we can both share the load. Nira blinked. You would do that again? Yes, Rayan said. I won't lose you. He took her hand and pressed it to the panel. Their bodies glowed together as the energy surged between them. The core came back to life. The engines powered on. The red lights turned green. The ship was ready. But outside, the radar showed the 3 raider ships closing in. They were just minutes away. Rayan ran to the pilot seat and fired up the thrusters. "Hold on," he said. "We're leaving." The shuttle rose from the ground just as the first raider appeared above the canyon. Laser blasts rained down, but Rayan dodged them, weaving between the cliffs. The old shuttle groaned under pressure, but it held. Nira stayed. Strapped in, eyes half closed, whispering soft words in her native language. Her voice calmed the air around them, softening the strikes that came too close. They flew high, past the clouds, up into space. The other two raider ships followed. Rayan took them into a field of broken satellites near Kelveris's orbit. "This again," he muttered. "Let's see if they remember last time." He flew low, close to the debris. The raiders tried to match him, but the smaller human shuttle moved quicker. Rayan tilted the ship sideways between a spinning satellite and a broken cargo ship. 1. Raider clipped its wing and exploded. 2 left. But one raider fired a shot that hit the shuttle's side. Sparks flew. The ship's warning system blared. Rayan gripped the controls. "We can't take another hit." Suddenly, a large cruiser appeared on the scanner. It wasn't a raider. It was elegant, long, and glowing with soft blue lights. Nira's eyes opened. Wide, Velari ship. The cruiser sent out a wave of light that wrapped around Rayan's shuttle like a shield. The last two raiders turned to flee, but the cruiser fired a clean, silent beam of energy, disabling both enemy ships at once. Rayan let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. "We're safe," he said softly. The Velari cruiser opened a communication line. A calm, deep voice spoke in clear translation. "We received your signal. You have done something rare, human. You protected one of ours and something more." Nira smiled weakly. They came. Rayan guided the shuttle into the Velari hangar. Inside, beautiful blue-skinned figures in silver robes waited. They bowed to Nira and helped her gently from the shuttle. One of the elders turned to Rayan. "You carry a part of us now. The life you helped create will be remembered." Rayan stood quietly, unsure what to say. He looked at Nira. She took his hand and held it firmly. "You didn't just save me," she whispered. "You saved a future." Rayan stood on the smooth silver floor of the Velari ship's grand hall. Everything around him was quiet, glowing with soft blue light. The air felt warm and peaceful. It was nothing like the cold metal walls of the mining station he used to call home. He was no longer just a space engineer. He was something more. A group of Velari elders stood in front of him, tall beings with shining robes and gentle faces. They looked at him not with fear or judgment, but with deep respect. "You brought her to us," said the eldest one. "You protected her when no one else would." Rayan said nothing at first. He glanced over at Nira. She was lying peacefully inside a glowing chamber, surrounded by soft light. Her skin shimmered, and her body looked stronger now. The child inside her was growing healthy and safe. She was finally getting the care she needed. "She saved me too," Rayan said quietly. "She gave me purpose." The elder nodded. "A bond like yours is rare. One formed not by force or plan, but by sacrifice and trust." Rayan didn't understand everything the elder meant, but he felt the truth in the words. A younger Velari approached him. "You carry part of our light now. It lives in you. You are connected to the child through energy that cannot be undone." Rayan looked down at his hand. Sometimes he still felt a soft warmth running through his chest, especially when near Nira. The bond was real. "Will they both be okay?" he asked. The elder smiled. "Yes, because of you, they will live." Rayan felt something heavy lift from his heart. For days, the Velari let him rest in a quiet room. He walked in their gardens, listened to their music, and learned small things about their world. It was peaceful here, almost like a dream. One day, Nira came to visit him. Walking on her own, she looked brighter, stronger. The child was still growing inside her, and now she carried it with calm and pride. Rayan stood up as she entered. "You're walking," she smiled. "And the child is kicking," Rayan laughed. "A fighter already." They sat together on a bench overlooking the stars. The large viewing glass showed a slow field of purple gas and shining moons. "Your people. They really accepted me," Rayan said. Niri looked at him. "You earned it. You didn't run when it was hard. You stayed." Rayan turned to her. "What happens now? Do I go back?" Nira was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You have a place here, Rayan, if you want it." Rayan thought about the mining station, how small and lonely it felt now, how much his life had changed. He looked at Nira's hand resting on her stomach, and the way her eyes smiled at him without saying a word. He had made a choice before, without knowing the full cost. Now he had the chance to make another. "I'll stay," he said. Nira leaned against his shoulder. "I'm glad." Time passed. Rayan was given a small living space inside the Valari vessel, and soon after, a job helping with technical repairs. His human knowledge of machines blended well with Valari energy systems. They respected his quiet focus and strong hands. He was no longer just the outsider. He was one of them now. When the day came for the child to be born, the ship entered orbit around a peaceful blue world where the Valari often settled during sacred moments. Inside a glowing birthing chamber, surrounded by light and harmony, Nira gave birth to a small, bright-skinned child with soft silver hair and curious violet eyes. Rayan stood beside her, holding her hand. The child opened its eyes and looked at both of them. The room fell silent. The child's energy was calm, warm, and glowing. A perfect blend of Valari and human life. One of the elders whispered, "A new beginning." Rayan didn't know how to explain the feeling in his chest. It was more than pride. It was love, hope, and something deep that couldn't be spoken. Later that evening, as the stars shone above the blue world, Nira and Rayan stood together on the balcony of their new home. The child slept quietly in a cradle beside them. "What will we name her?" Nira asked. Rayan thought for a moment. Then he said softly, "Leora." Nira smiled. "In our tongue, that means light of two worlds. It fits," he said. Watch the stars together, hand in hand. A human who once lived in silence and routine. An alien who was trapped and nearly lost. Now both were bound by something pure: life, love, and courage. Rayan never thought saving one stranger would change everything, but it did. And now, the story of Nira and Rayan, the story of hope and darkness, would be remembered across galaxies for generations to come.